Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I'm joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and we are going over the conference championship games. The Final Four is here, the best football day of the year, and we're going to go over that. Our middle seat tournament for who's going to have to sit in the middle seat without any technology of any kind and just stare ahead for an entire 4-hour flight. We're going to go over all that. We're going to go over, we got more dog food emails, a bunch of that stuff, but first, I want to hit the coach hirings and firings around the league. So we have the New York Jets have hired Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator from the Lions, as their new head coach. I mean, Godspeed to him. Bless his heart. I hope that goes well.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? DK, right off the bat, do you like this for the Jets? Let's start there.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? Everything that you hear about him is he's pretty much really highly respected, very beloved. Obviously, he did a lot with not a lot in terms of, the amount of injuries that the Lions had this year. It was incredible what he was able to do despite losing all those guys. I will say that. And I think you said it best on the social media. It was like, he might be a great coach, but he's going to the Jets. So like, what difference does it make? I don't know. I kind of feel bad for him almost.
I feel bad for him as well.
Yeah.
It seems like the nicest head coach to ever go through the meat grinder that's going to be the New York Jets. I wish him luck. And you know what? I don't know. Washington is in the conference championship, and the Lions were expected to win the Super Bowl. So crazier things have happened.
Yeah,
but
everybody talks very highly of him, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he comes extremely highly respected, and
that's why I'm worried. It's gonna be hard to make fun of him. Like when Adam Gase comes in and they suck, it's like, yeah, what a loser. No, it's like,
a weird guy.
Make fun of poor Aaron Glenn when they're bad. I don't know. What do you think, Craig?
I think it's interesting that the Jets have once again stuck to their strategy of bringing in a defensive coach. They basically had no interest in an offensive mind this go around. They did not request interviews from Todd Monken, Liam Cohen, Cliff Kingsbury, Kellen Moore. Ben Johnson did not come in. Joe Brady did not come in, and yet they interviewed 16 people, and it was none of those names.
How to make room for the University of Maryland head coach?
Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan. Yeah. How could you interview Ben Johnson when you have Rex Ryan on the books?
Right.
Does Rex Ryan have veneers, by the way?
Definitely.
Yes.
He has the craziest fucking teeth.
More people have veneers than you think.
Well, I don't doubt that, but his are very obvious, I feel like.
They all are, to be honest. Everybody out here with horse teeth now.
You know the mayor in Nightmare Before Christmas? He looks like the mayor with the teeth. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to Google that right now.
What it reminds me of is on Something About Mary. What's the guy's name? Dylan? It's Dylan something, the actor. And he gets veneers in the
Matt
movie.
Dillon.
Matt Dillon.
Or is it Kevin Dillon?
Giant smile.
I think it's Matt Dillon. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Doesn't this look like
that.
Rex Ryan?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I suppose
look at those things.
It's much better than having bad teeth. But
yeah, definitely. I get it.
It's like, why are they
man.
that color? It's like Aaron Judge. It's like blinding.
Yeah,
is it like 1.5x the normal size of your teeth?
Well, because they have to paste on top of your current teeth, so they're a little bit more protruded.
Oh,
or like gel nails.
The process
Yes.
of veneers sounds horrible.
Yeah, and they're like bleach white.
It'd be funny if they came in a little slightly
Just a little bit eggshell.
My dad's a dentist. Should we bring him on to talk about Rex Ryan's veneers?
I actually, to be honest, I have 50 questions for your dad about teeth, so I would love to have him on.
Let's come on and just do the veneers talk.
Anyway,
what were we talking about? Yeah, the Jets.
Sorry, Rex Ryan. I derailed it.
Yeah, so Solak, what an interesting guy. So Solak wrote a really good piece for ESPN actually about Aaron Glenn. It was a really good story, and basically was about how, he's not like a defensive coach, he's like a real coach, but also Solak had a good point. Coach. Yeah, he's like, no, that's Aaron Glenn's line where he's like getting pigeonholed as like, oh, you're a defensive coach, which is basically like, okay, they're there, like you're not really going to be a real coach. And that's the perception of a lot of defensive coaches in the NFL. And Solak had a really good story that basically was about the story of a lot of coaches in the NFL, both sides of the ball, are kind of funneled into whatever system you're in. That's the system you're in. And, you look at the Shanahan guys and McVay Shanahan guys, they'll run around like a rat pack. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like you're in a system, and then you're in a system, and then those are the people and then they go around and then they hire you. And but you kind of always learn one system. And Solak's point was Aaron Glenn has been as a player, he had a 12-year career. He was coached by Pete Carroll, Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick, Mike Nolan, Todd Bowles, and Herman Edwards.
Damn.
Went to the expansion Houston Texans when they were added in the expansion draft, played for Dom Capers and Vic Fangio, and then went back to Bill Parcells and then played with Mike Zimmer. And then he went as a coach to Sean Payton, who taught him like offense while he was coaching defense under Aaron Glenn. Under Aaron Glenn was coaching under Dennis Allen. So, and Solak's point was basically, this guy played for every important defensive coach of the 21st century, except for Monty Kiffin, and that he has like more experience across styles.
But Carroll is a descendant of Kiffin, isn't he? Carroll's defense is related.
I guess, yeah. So the part of the Solak story that it was interesting, and he didn't directly make this comparison, but what it reminded me of was how Kyle Shanahan always talks about. I mean, look, obviously, Kyle Shanahan, one of the good Nepo babies, and like grew up under offensive coaches. But Kyle Shanahan always talks about the most important year of his coaching career was learning the defensive side of the ball. And it's one of those things that sounds so obvious, but you learn offense, and then you take 1 year to learn, wait, how are they attacking us? And you're like, you could totally take advantage of like the small tells and like how they coach defense.
Yeah,
and
sure. Undercover
Aaron
boss situation. You got to see both sides.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Great show.
I haven't seen it.
I actually haven't either.
I just like the SNL skit where
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver as
he's Kylo Ren, and he's just like hanging out
undercover
with
boss with like all the employees.
That's one of the
He's
best.
like, I heard
SNL
Kylo
ones.
Ren is hilarious.
Good skit. I don't think I've ever seen the actual show, but I've seen that to know enough.
I've seen that.
I've seen like clips. Yeah.
We should do that with the Jets, like undercover bosses, but you're just there with Brick Johnson.
Brick.
That's a great idea.
We should do that. Anyways, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, the point was Aaron Glenn learned under Sean Payton. He learned a lot about offense. So yeah, that's it. We'll hope he's good. I guess that's where we're going.
I wonder who they'll bring in for offensive coach. Have they said anything about that in terms of like OC? Is he going to bring some guy over from the Lions?
Well,
probably?
Brick is checking which coaches are available in Madden.
You're right,
Right. Yeah. So I actually kind of would love to be there for Aaron Glenn and Brick Johnson meeting the first time. Like I would actually really love that. But we could add him to the list of people who's influenced Aaron Glenn's coaching career. But no, I think it's cool. Like, I don't know. I'm a sucker. And also the one thing I want to come back to what Craig said at the jump, which is they keep doing defensive coaches. I respect that because I think it is very human nature in like anything in life with leadership where people just need the opposite. People like a young person's replaced with old, and player-friendly coaches are replaced with disciplinarians, offense with defense, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like that's not always like the best way to do it. It's just keep going on the pendulum. And like I like that they're just taking the best person. We'll see. I mean, maybe this is just evidence for just interview 17 people without talking to any of the top candidates. Sure, like that's.
Obviously, you need somebody who's qualified and intelligent and nails the interview and all that. But I do like going after somebody who kind of has just like a glowing reputation in terms of personality. Players love him. Like everybody who speaks about Aaron Glenn just says he's great. So I feel like that's a good start. This is probably a decent hire on face value.
Do you think that was the pitch when the 33rd team, who's the consulting firm that they Jets hired, do you think that the pitch Mike Tannenbaum made was basically, everyone loves Aaron Glenn.
Many people are saying.
And everyone hates you guys. So
also, Aaron Glenn's first job was for Mike Tannenbaum as a scout for him when he was with the Jets.
He was drafted. Yes, he was drafted by the Jets, which again, people just still hiring. Yeah, that's the cynical way to look at this is like, it's just like Mike Tannenbaum interviewed Rex Ryan because he worked with Rex Ryan with the Jets. And then Mike Tannenbaum took some guy that like the Jets drafted a long time ago. So, I hope it works out for him. Good luck with that. Or any other thoughts on Aaron Glenn? Honestly, Godspeed. Like, we'll see what he does with Aaron Rodgers. I kind of like in the back of my mind hope
I think Aaron Rodgers is gone.
I hope so, but like I also kind of hope he stays, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope he stays too.
I hope he doesn't retire because it's kind of funny.
If they cut Rodgers, I think he's gone. I don't know who's signing Aaron Rodgers if the Jets cut him. I really don't know where he goes.
Yeah.
So for content, for we gotta keep the lights on here. What are we gonna do if Aaron Rodgers retires? Aaron. He's gonna start a podcast and snuff us out.
He 100% will start a podcast with like RFK or something. That's definitely
no, it's gonna happen. He'll get like a post or something. I don't know what's gonna go on.
Yeah.
So the other thing that happened, I couldn't believe this. The Jaguars have fired their GM Trent Baalke.
This timeline is incredible.
This is crazy.
What in the hell?
I can't remember a story where I so respected and disrespected the process at the same time, where I want to give the Jags kudos for recognizing a mistake, but also it was really funny because basically the Jags fired Doug Peterson, who was the most fired coach that hadn't been fired yet in the whole league. And then they decided to keep Trent Baalke, even though he has overseen just the disaster that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Trent Baalke is He's a snake. He's never been hired directly for GM. He's 2 GM jobs where his boss got fired. He snaked his way into it. Won a power struggle with Jim Harbaugh. Like, this guy is just like, everyone does it. Nobody likes Trent Baalke. There's very little.
He's the opposite of Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, he's the anti-Aaron Glenn.
You can't find somebody to say something nice about this guy.
No one. He's worked in the NFL for 30 years. No one has anything nice to say about Trent Baalke. So, which is really telling. So, they keep Trent Baalke as the GM, and they have all these head coaching candidates come in, and they're like, yeah, he's going to stay. And all of them are like, that guy? And it's honestly like Two Towers in Lord of the Rings with the Rohan, and you're going to interview with the king, and you're like, he works here? Like, I don't want to be this guy. And so, like, worm tongue, you're like, oh, I don't know about this fucking Rasputin over here. And so Ben Johnson for the Lions apparently did want the Jaguars job, and they wouldn't get rid of Trent Baalke. And Ben Johnson split. Ben Johnson didn't want the Jags job because Trent Baalke's there. And they're like, all right, well, he had options.
So they bring
in, yes, then I think people say anymore.
Good, like very old expression there. He split.
Yeah, he had the catbird seat, and then he split.
Yeah, he split.
But then, so Liam Cohen, the Bucs offensive coordinator, rolls into Jacksonville, and then he goes back to the Bucs.
He's like,
for like a small raise. He just goes back to being an offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay instead of working with Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence.
Do you think people are learning from Ben Johnson? Like, we're in the new era of these hot ticket coordinators not taking the first job that's offered to them because they actually, realize that, hey, their stock is probably not going to go down as long as they, continue to do what they do, and that they can actually probably pick a better spot if they give it a year or two.
100%. I think absolutely. And because it's one of those things where you have to trust yourself. And also Liam Cohen has so many connections. Like, there's so many smart people who endorse him. Sean McVay swears by Liam Cohen. And I'm talking like people who went to him for ideas. Like when he was at Kentucky, I mean, he made fucking Will Levis look good. Like this guy, like he almost made Will Levis a first round pick. So Liam Cohen is very respected. But yeah, it's like Ben Johnson, and I think the reason I respect Ben Johnson for waiting this long, whether or not he does well in Chicago, is one of the things he said was you usually get one shot at it. Like if you study it, most of these people fail. Like that was Ben Johnson's original point 2 years ago when he didn't take the Panthers job, was like most of the time it doesn't work. Like if you
only have one first impression as a head coach.
And it's not just that. It's like you usually last like 2 years, 3 years max. Like most of these people get fucking fired pretty quickly. He's like,
also, once you do get fired, it takes you a really long time to get back into the coaching, like into the head coach circuit, if ever.
And so it's like, and basically if you look at it this way, if Ben Johnson had taken that original Panthers job 2 years ago, there's a chance he'd already have been fired now. You know what I mean? I think that was his point. And so I think more people are seeing that aspect of it where it's not just, so it's a combo of what you're saying, Craig, with, it's like wait a year for the right job. Like, why not?
Well, Cohen's in a good spot too. He's kind of in a similar spot to Ben Johnson last year. Obviously the Bucs aren't as good, but the quarterback's going to be returning. They still have a good offensive line. Yeah. Mike Evans is still there. Godwin will be back in theory.
And Todd Bowles is old.
McMillan's good. Yeah.
Bucky Irving. How old is Todd Bowles? Is 61. So that's all. I mean, the Bucs are literally one of the few teams that they've already done a coach succession thing. I think multiple times. I mean, Bruce Arians handed the job to Todd Bowles. So it's like, this is already something that Bucs ownership has done multiple times. So I wouldn't be surprised if Liam Cohen wants to get that job.
Yeah, a lot of Buccaneers fans I've seen on Twitter and stuff really want Cohen as the head coach.
I think, but that makes sense. Like, stay there another year or two and just take Todd Bowles' job, and everyone's happy with it. I mean, but the point being, so the Jaguars get spurned by Liam Cohen and realize, holy shit, no one's going to take this job with Trent Baalke here. And then they listen. We actually bullied them into it. They fired Trent Baalke. We've never bullied anyone.
We didn't bully him into it. The coach is not wanting to go there.
No, it was us. We did it.
It was us.
They finally looked in the mirror and were like,
and now all the good coaches are gone. It's too little too late. I guess it's good they did it, but it's like, this was like Trent Baalke. It's like Trent Baalke's like one last job. He's like, I know they're going to fire me. I'm going to hang on for 2 weeks just to fuck this team.
Dude,
he's like the wet bandits in Home Alone. He's like, I'm just going to turn on the sink before I leave and just like ruin this franchise.
I just think it's so funny that like they just were like, oh shit, everyone was right about no one wanted to work with this guy.
Oh great, all the good candidates have been hired. Now let's fire our GM and bring in Patrick Graham, who is the only guys they have for second interviews are Robert Saleh and Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator for the Raiders.
Craig, what was that James Bond movie where they couldn't get a director or like get a script writer or an actor for like years? And like, was it Spectre? One of them was like,
you talking about the Quantum of Solace, the writer strike movie? Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. The True Detective season 1.
You're talking about Fukunaga.
Fukunaga was like playing Nintendo Switch in his trailer the whole time. And then they couldn't get anyone to work together. I don't know. Spectre. Yeah. The whole, it's just a mess. It's like everyone's getting fired in the wrong order. So anyway, good luck with that.
It's like we're doing the good luck with that rankings. It's like Aaron Glenn to the Jets. Yeah. Good luck with that.
And then you have Dallas
2 weeks late. Good luck with that.
And then you have Dallas interviewing Brian Schottenheimer as their head coach when it's like they're rushing to get a contract done. I'm like, no one else even wanted to talk to this guy.
Cowboys are playing a different game.
Dude. God.
They're just on their own schedule.
They are playing checkers.
They're on the Mayan calendar.
Chess.
Yeah.
My God.
That's good.
Oh my God. Anyway, yeah. So the Jaguars are really pathetic. I'm sorry. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, feel bad for you if you root for them. The other one that happened here was the Patriots hired Josh McDaniels as their offensive coordinator with Mike Vrabel.
What's going on? This feels weird. This is like when CBS rebooted 2.5 Men with everybody, except they replaced Charlie Sheen with Ashton Kutcher.
That's just.
I'm just like, what do we? It's just he's back again. Josh McDaniels. Haven't we moved on from this? This guy's been the offensive coordinator 3 times now for this team. Has that ever happened?
That's a good question.
Why is everyone doing the same thing? But like,
why are we doing this? We're moving on. We're starting fresh. We're gonna bring back Josh McDaniels.
That's really good.
I can tell you the real reason why they want him. If you want, or we can just like make fun of him.
Whatever. No, hit me.
I think the real reason is that they want an experienced OC who's not going to go anywhere after 1 year. You know what I mean?
Because Drake May's had 4 coordinators in 4 years going back to college.
And I don't think anyone's hiring Josh McDaniels as a head coach.
Anymore. Why? Is it because is it because of the time that he flamed out with the Broncos? Or was it the time he got the Colts job and didn't show up? Or was it the time that he got fired from the Raiders and then all the players smoked cigars like it was LSU winning the championship?
Yep.
So you think Josh McDaniels, he could fall in that Steve Spagnuolo sweet spot where he's really good at being a coordinator and no one's going to hire him?
I think that's how they see it, yes. An experienced NFL coordinator who knows the culture there, knows Vrabel, is not going to get hired right away. And
made Mac Jones relevant.
Some continuity.
Had a good year out of Matt Castle that when Brady went down that 1 year.
He did a better job with Mac Jones than Matt Patricia did, so you got to give him credit there.
Yep.
I think I don't like Josh McDaniels to the Patriots, but I don't hate it. Like I get it. I'm trying to be more open-minded this year, and like my instinct is obviously kind of like Dennis Allen being the Bears coordinator, where I'm like, didn't everyone like celebrate when this guy got fired? Did everybody hate this guy's guts?
It just feels stale. But it's like this is not ushering in a new era.
So, here's the thing. I will say this. I think for 31 teams, if you brought back I know there is no comparison for Josh McDaniels, but like some guy who's been there forever to work with your coach, who's been there forever, or was a part of this indelible thing. I think that 31 teams chasing nostalgia, it's dumb, bordering on pathetic. Like I think all the stuff with Dallas and everything we've talked about Dallas for years, I actually think sometimes I make it too complicated, and they like attention and they miss the 90s. Like literally, like I'm not kidding you. Everything Dallas
that's
does.
Exactly that's how I describe myself.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it's the problem. The problem is that Jerry's 83. It's that 1994 was like 30 years ago. That's his problem. But
that's
it's
like, wild. The
honestly,
90s made like almost 30 years ago. God.
Buddy, they were, I'm 30.
I don't like to be Abdul in absolute numbers, Craig. I just like to estimate.
Right.
Several decades ago.
Do you remember E.T. was closer to the moon landing than today?
Damn.
The movie. Anyway, The point being, I think when the Cowboys draft Ezekiel Elliott and are literally trying to do Emmitt Smith again, and like they're just trying to make Dak Prescott Troy Aikman, and everything they're doing is trying to recreate the past. I get it, though, when New England does it, where it's like Mike Vrabel is the only Belichick disciple. He's the only person that might be able to pull off the Patriot way, and wanting Josh McDaniels, who also understands what he's trying to do, and not even recreate, but re-spark, and basically you leave behind everything that doesn't help, and you take with you into the future what you think will apply going forward. And I do understand where it's like Mike Vrabel's like, yeah, I know this guy. He knows what I want to do. And like there is something about preserving the language in a way that he's not Belichick, he's Vrabel. And I think the best feeling I've had is that Vrabel's actually more like Bill Parcells than he's going to be like Bill Belichick. He learned under Belichick, but he's Bill Parcells-esque. And I see the argument for wanting someone who knows intimately, though, what you want to accomplish. And you're like losing a lot of the prologue. And like there's a lot of
it's like you get rid of some of the runway of getting everybody up to speed, getting everybody on the same page.
This feels like a Kraft decision, though, right? Not a Vrabel call.
No, I think it's I bet it's a Vrabel call. I think Vrabel's in charge. At least that's my T reading on it. I could be wrong, but I think the flip side is if it doesn't work out, it's Vrabel's fault, and it's like an immediate ding. So The Vrabel thing to me reminds me a lot of Mike Tomlin getting Roethlisberger in the Steelers job.
I hope McDaniels is good for May. That's all I hope.
Yeah.
Vrabel also brought in the Lions D-line coach as their new defensive coordinator, Terrell Williams.
Man, the Lions are just getting pilfered.
Yeah.
They're losing so many coaches.
The other person, you guys texted me this. I thought this was fake. I really thought this was fake. I really, really, truly.
I sent the link to you and you're like, I thought you were joking.
I
laughed about it with my friends.
I cannot believe this story. So the Raiders hired a general manager. What the hell is this guy's name?
John Spytek.
John Spytek.
That sounds like a really bad made-up name for like a fiction novel.
And it's spelled Spytek. Literally like the name of it sounds like the name of a company. It sounds like in Severance they were between Lumen and Spytek. And they went with Lumen.
Spytek got to be one of the like most interesting last names.
Literally, I feel like Brady didn't think this through because one, accused of cheating multiple times. Literally, Spytek reports to Brady. Like literally, Tom Brady literally employs Spytek.
What are you gonna not hire a guy because his last name's Spytek? Maybe.
It feels. I don't know. It's like the script writers are getting lazy. I'm like, this is insane.
There were some good jokes going around on Twitter and Blue Sky, basically like, watch out for offensive coordinator Jack Burner Phone to come in here and do their thing. It's some good stuff. Yeah. Dad jokes.
I don't want to know who Bob Kraft is hiring.
Noble Gaslaw. He's coming in.
What else you got? Keep going.
Dude, some of the I was like, I kind of have honestly
Richard
forgot.
Deflategate. Keep going.
Dick Deflategate.
That's my father.
Dick Deflator.
No, that's
I kind of had forgotten about all the shit the Patriots got like accused and all the stuff they did. Pretty good. There's like multiple things. The burner phones from Deflategate. God, those are
dude.
Some
I
good times.
think it was so funny as Brady handing in his phone to the NFL and it was like broken.
Like,
he
dropped it.
broke. What?
He just stepped on it 20 minutes before they came to his door.
Yeah, like he's like you good fellas or something.
My kid threw it in the pool. Sorry.
Do you guys know how thrilled I am that we didn't like have to cover that? I would have lost my mind if I was like, so the footballs were between 13 and 16 psi in the negative 12 degrees. Jesus.
Heifetz, you said this like a week or so ago, and I couldn't agree more. I do love, and sorry, Austin, who's a Raiders fan, I do kind of love that it's hard for Brady right now. Like they lost out on Ben Johnson. They didn't get Aaron Glenn. It's just fun that Brady couldn't just waltz into an NFL franchise and immediately find success. Like they might not get the quarterback they want in a draft this year. I don't know why I'm reveling in that a little bit.
It's thrilling.
I know why.
I feel bad for the Schadenfreude because I feel bad for Raiders fans. Like you're just getting the shit kicked out of you. The Chiefs go to the Super Bowl every year. Now the Broncos look good. The Chargers have Jim Harbaugh, and I'm like, I feel bad for the fans, but dude, I just love. I can't wait for Tom Brady. You know why? He's not even getting to watch the team. Like he has to stumble through whatever the fuck game he's doing every week. You know what I mean? It's gonna be great.
John Spytek, who's been with the Bucs for 9 years, was there when Brady was there. They also played college football together in Michigan, so they're buddies.
Spytek is a Polish surname. What was the name of that bear?
Wojtek.
Wojtek.
That's why it sounds so familiar.
Was Wojtek Polish?
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, do you remember that octopus that
like
predicted the World Cup games? Do you think we could get a bear to like make draft picks with the Bucks, and we could compare Raiders draft picks with like we just get a bear to pick players and see which one would have been better over time?
Yeah, Wojtek was a Syrian brown bear, but he was adopted by soldiers by Polish soldiers.
The Polish soldiers were the one giving him the cigarettes and beer.
The cigarettes in Poland were better. That's weird. Spytek.
I'm now just picturing that like Family Guy bear as the Raiders GM. Anyway. All right. Any other thing on these people being hired? This is all weird. I don't know.
Do you have like active thoughts about John Spytek coming to Vegas?
I actually think of all the things we do in the entire calendar year, there's literally to me nothing that is more of a black box than trying to figure out if some like front office person will be good at their job. Like it's like the longest term thing to judge and like the blackest box of like you don't know who's doing what or what's good. And even among teams that are good, it's so hard to figure out even in one team who's really doing what with decision making.
You could say the Buccaneers front office has done a really good job of late, and that's about it.
But like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? It's like the Chiefs.
Like, who's
like
responsible for that?
Yeah, it's like Mike Borgonzi goes from the Chiefs to the Titans, and I'm like, is he going to be good? I'm like, I don't know. People say he's good, and he did a lot. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Like we don't know. You know, it's like people
at
said
least
Joe Shane
the process
did a lot the
seems
Bills.
to be good in Tampa Bay. So that's like he's been soaking up that process.
A competent team year in, year out.
Yeah.
Right, and they've done well in the draft of late. They've drafted some very good players. So I don't know. This is how it always works, though. This is like the whole coaching search too. It's like, oh, this team is really good, therefore this guy should be the head coach of another team. It is kind of derivative or whatever. It's like, you know what I mean? This guy's really getting credit for this team with an awesome roster doing really well.
That's always my hesitancy. Like I want to call this the Adam Gase rule, and this is my little fear with Brian Callahan. Where like Adam Gase, it was like, oh, what was your job? He's like, yeah, I worked with Peyton Manning. Okay, cool. What'd you do for him?
Watched him play.
Yeah, you just a bobblehead, and I'm like, Brian Callahan. I'm like, what'd you do? Oh, work with Matt Stafford and Joe Burrow. I'm like, cool. Like, it's, what if you don't get one of them? It's like, I was like, we don't know.
It's almost as if it's Jimmy's and Joe's versus X's and O's. Great.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well.
I once heard a wise man say that on a recent broadcast.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the conference championship games first. Just a reminder, everyone, we're doing the Ringer NFL draft show. So we're going to New Orleans. We're doing the Super Bowl. Still got previews and reviews for the next 2 rounds of the playoffs. Only 3 games left. And then off season, hitting the draft, hitting free agency, coaches, obviously, and then trades and everything. And DK's watching way too many players for you guys to bail on us. So we'll just be personally crushed.
We're just guilt tripping people into listening.
Internally and externally, if you abandon us, we'll just never personally recover. So,
And we'll know. We can see the numbers. So we know if you're leaving.
And you specifically, like, we'll know.
Right.
Yeah. Next line in succession. We're listening. No, don't say that.
Oh yeah. Right.
Don't say we're listening. You're like, wow, we're listeners. No, it sounds bad. Anyway, conference championships. So we've got these games. It's funny. The Eagles are hosting Washington. That game's at 3 Eastern. The Eagles are favored by 6.5 points. Bills are at Kansas City. Kansas City's favored by 1.5. That game's at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. And we've seen both these games before, like a lot, relatively speaking. Like Washington and Philly played in December. They played in November. We'll get to that game in a second. We have to start with Bills Chiefs. I mean, this is literally like Bills Chiefs. Again, Chiefs favored by 1.5 points. This is literally Josh Allen Mahomes part 9. Isn't that weird? It's like a Fast and Furious level. We have 9 of these now after this game, which I can't really get over.
Is Vin Diesel in this one?
I think Mahomes is the Vin Diesel right here in this scenario, and Josh Allen is the Rock. I don't know.
Like Vin Diesel, it's literally in his contract that he can't lose a fight, right?
Right, he can't lose a fight. They keep forcing the Rock into the movies because it gets good ratings, but he always loses.
Yeah, that's true. By the way, every punch Vin Diesel throws, he has to get. Every time he gets punched, he has to punch. You know that? Like if he gets thrown through a glass window, he has to be able to throw someone through a glass window.
Is that a thing 1-to-1? I thought he just couldn't lose a fight to the Rock.
No, it's literally it's reciprocal. And Vin Diesel's sister's job on set in the Fast and Furious she's the coordinator for like whether he's getting equal shit kicked out of him. That's like Vin Diesel's sister's job. And I guess in this game, it's like Sean Hokuli's job or whatever. But
we need somebody to do that for Josh Allen. The Bills have won the last 4 regular season games versus the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have won all 3 playoff games versus the Bills.
It's crazy. I mean, I think I know that I've said a lot in the last couple weeks that Mahomes is on the verge of being football Michael Jordan. And I know that sounds hyperbolic, but I do want to just for a moment, take a moment to actually talk about what the fuck happens if Patrick Mahomes wins this football game. Like if the Chiefs win, Patrick Mahomes will have made 5 Super Bowls in his first 7 seasons as a starter.
I mean, he's made 7 straight conference championships, which has never happened before.
7 for 7 in conference titles,
so
5
crazy.
Super Bowls. And I know that the Michael Jordan thing sounds lofty. You're like, oh, so if they three-peat, you're another three-peat short. Okay, I will just say Michael Jordan did not make the NBA Finals until his 7th season. Patrick Mahomes will have made 5 Super Bowls. And the other thing I will just say, I know Patrick Mahomes, if he wins the Super Bowl this year, will have 4 Super Bowl wins at 29. Tom Brady won his 4th Super Bowl at 37.
Really?
So
wow.
I know that we're in this era where everything's
these are genuine. These are genuine. I swear.
DK is reacting the same way he does when Calvin comes home. He's like, I painted a horse.
Did you know whales are filter feeders?
I'm like, what is that? He's like, oh, it's a red panda. Wow. That's amazing.
You know, Family Guy where Ringo writes a song and like, oh, we're going to put it right up on the fridge where everyone can see it.
No, I was being genuine. These are good facts. I like your facts.
No, but I guess the words unprecedented and all this stuff get thrown around a lot. But like, this is the best start to a career in any sport we've ever seen.
Yeah.
I guess it's like Derek Jeter coming up and winning 4 World Series, but it's like he's a baseball player. It's like you're one of 9 people. Like, he's the quarterback of a team. And this is actually 5 Super Bowls in 7 seasons. This is crazy.
Yeah. It's wild.
And then I was talking to Connor Nevins here at the Ringer this morning, and he made the point to me, this is going to be like the nobody believes in us three-peat if the Chiefs win this game, because it's like all 3 straight years and everyone's like, what's wrong with the Chiefs? And they just are going to they're about to beg.
He talked about how shitty they were on their way to 15 wins or whatever. How many did they win? They win 15.
15
right?
and 2. It's been a bizarre year, or honestly 2 years, because last year was the year they sucked. Last year they were 11 and 6. I think they were 10 and 6 before the last game of the season, and everybody was like, all right, this is not the Chiefs' year. Of course, they go win that year. And then this year they go 15 and 1, and we're still like, yeah, but it's a fake 15 and 1.
I'd like to see old Pat wriggle his way out of this one. Well, nevertheless.
I don't know what they could do. So the Bills beat them 30-21 this year. That was the game where Josh Allen had the Band of Brothers run. They were up 2 with 2 minutes left. And he had the 40-yard touchdown to end the game on 4th down.
So, and the history of these games are sick. I mean, that game was sick. And again, just like the 13-second game last year was this insane game where, I mean, the Bills missed the field goal wide right again, which is a horrible term in Buffalo. And then Damar Hamlin, the Chiefs had 10 guys on defense and they ran a fake punt. They didn't get it, even though the Chiefs had 10 people in the field. And then Mecole Hardman fumbled the ball out of the end zone. Fartman. Honestly, we should call him that.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, write that down. But anyway, DK, where do you lean in this game for Bills Chiefs right now in Kansas City?
I would like to know where you lean first.
Strategically
speaking, I'm just going to pick the opposite.
What
of
DK should theoretically, what he has to do is you have to do the opposite of Heifetz, and you need you need to have a different money ball.
I know that.
And then you could still tie.
I know. But in my genuine feeling is I lean Bills slightly. It's hard because both of these teams are on like remarkable and rare streaks of not turning the football over, and it's like the biggest cliche. And we've seen this all preseason. The team that's won the turnover battle this year in the postseason, I should say, is 7-0. So it just comes down to winning the turnover battle, and neither of these teams turned the fucking ball over. The Bills are on an all-time like heater in terms of not turning the ball over. They turned the ball over 8 times in 19 games this year, which is unheard of. And the Chiefs, meanwhile, haven't turned the ball over in their last 8 games. So who's going to blink is like my first question in this game. Who's going to ultimately just get a little tight and make a mistake and turn the ball over? We saw with the Bills-Ravens game, the Ravens probably should have won that game. They outgained them by a ton, but they turned the ball over 3 times. And I just, I know this is super cliche. I know it's, kind of low-hanging fruit, but I really do believe like if someone turns the ball over in this game, they're probably going to be the team that loses. They're 2 very closely matched teams. I think the Bills have the revenge factor in their minds. Obviously, the Chiefs have 3-peat on their minds, but I don't know. I guess I just lean Bills slightly.
And that's the transformation for Buffalo, really. And there's been so many ways the Bills have transformed in the last few years where obviously, they're way more. This is the first really balanced Bills offense we've seen. Like, I remember last year's playoff game, the Bills came out and had a couple incredible drives, but this year's Bills team is truly like they can run the ball. I love the 6th offensive linemen they bring out and just like maul people and like they're like bullying people, but they can do everything. And like there's so many ways they've transformed, getting rid of Stephon Diggs. But honestly, the biggest transformation is the Bills went from like the butt joke of the league where Josh Allen turnovers the ball to the Bills protect the football the best in the NFL with the Chiefs. And like that's where they've really matched them. I think in a level playing field, like if everyone was healthy in this game, I actually think the Bills would do it. I actually would pick the Bills to win. My concern...
It's hard to win on the road, though.
It's hard to win on the road. I actually think the Bills could do it. And I really would pick them I would just take the points. And I think the Bills are just as good. But I'm taking the Chiefs in this game. And for one very simple and very boring reason, which is the Bills kind of dropped like flies at the end of that Ravens game last week. And I got lost in the shuffle because the Mark Andrews fumble and the Mark Andrews drop and the loss. But dude, they lost their best safety, Taylor Rapp, who had that injury. He was like writhing in pain. We don't know if Taylor Rapp's going to play. They lost their best cornerback, Christian Benford, who has been really one of the best cornerbacks in the entire NFL this year. Christian Benford got concussed on the fucking onside kick, which is like the dumbest possible way to get injured in an NFL game. And so we don't know if he's going to be out of the concussion protocol for this week. Matt Milano, who frankly, the whole game changed because Matt Milano was in this game and not in the regular season game the Bills-Ravens played in week 4. And Matt Milano, he hurt his hamstring on the final drive of the game. And like that didn't really get covered because it was like, 2-minute drill. Matt Milano's hurt. And Taron Johnson, he had like had a neck injury in the wildcard round. And then he had like this arm injury and I don't know, arm, neck. Sometimes it's like a shooting pain. Who knows what's going on? But like, dude, that's 4 of the Bills' best 5 or 6 defenders right there. That's almost half your defense. They're all important pieces. And I'm like,
it looks as though a few of those guys are going to play. Milano was limited, but they think he's going to play. Taron Johnson was a full participant.
Yeah. And we'll see. It's like even one of them, but the fact is all of them are banged up. Yeah. And on the flip side is, even if they play, they're not all 100%. You know who has 0 fucking injuries that matter right now? None. The Kansas City Chiefs. And
Patrick Mahomes was limited with an ankle injury in practice this week, which everyone was just immediately like, bullshit.
Yeah.
We don't believe you.
But yeah, so like that to me is the tiebreaker. Is like I just watched too many of these Bills defenders like go down in the final minutes of that game, and I'm Chiefs, and I'm like the people who are hurt for Kansas City are Sky Moore and Mecole Hardman. I'm like they're better off without those guys anyway.
So who are you taking? Kansas City?
I'm taking Kansas City -1.5, and I know that's really boring, but like I do. It's just that's half your defense is really banged up, man.
Are you moneyballing it or no?
I am moneyballing it. I'm going with Michael Jordan. And like, it's like an emotional hedge, to be honest. Like I would love if the Bills won. Like I would love if the Bills, could make the Super Bowl. It'd be so fun, but it's really bad timing with those injuries.
Yeah. It's just so hard. It's so hard to win on the road in the conference championships. It's like most of the time over the last like 10 or 15 years, I saw a stat. I don't have it in front of me, but it's like the vast majority of conference championship games, the home team wins over the last like 10 years. And so, I don't know. It's really tough. I think in a neutral spot, I'd feel a lot more confident in the Bills. I'm going to take the Bills because strategically, I just have to. And I'm going to moneyball them.
Score of our middle seat bet, and just to remind people, is that
I was leaning that direction though.
When we fly from New Orleans to Los Angeles, the person who comes in last in our pick 'em against the spread contest has to sit in the middle seat and literally raw dog the flight and just no TV, no music, no books, no anything. Craig has 9 points. You're scot free. I have 7. DK has 3. And we have a money ball where one of the games is worth 3 points. So DK, you literally have to go 2-0, and I have to go 0-2, and you have no chance. So you literally have to fade whatever I do blindly and hope I go 0-2. And then we have to figure out a tiebreaker.
Yeah. I'm thinking, do you think this will be a Khalil Shakur game? I think the Chiefs are going to play a bunch of zone. And I think Shakur is like that guy for them against zone stuff where he just settles into a little spot in the middle of the field. Josh Allen finds him, run after the catch. I don't know. And then also just how are the Bills going to control the Chiefs defensive line? Like the whole thing with the Texans taking 8 sacks or something like that in that last game. They have to figure out something to do. Obviously, Josh Allen is a lot better at dealing with pressure, but those are the two things I'm really looking at here is like, how are they going to stop the Chiefs defensive line? How are they going to contend with it? If the Chiefs play a bunch of zone, what are they going to do with that?
Yeah, I'm curious what the Bills do with the 6 offensive linemen thing. I mean, a fifth of their snaps, they had 6 offensive linemen on the field. Like, yeah. I'm obsessed with that. But the flip side is, I don't know if they do that as much. I really do think that a lot of the game comes down to third down, where in the regular season when they played Dan Pizzuta, shout out Dan Pizzuta at 33rd team. I don't know if he's interviewing all these Jets players or the Jets GMs and Aaron Glenn, but Dan Pizzuta on the content side of the 33rd team had a great point that basically when the Chiefs trot out 2 tight ends, they want you to match with linebackers. And the Bills are like, fuck that. We're staying in nickel. Like, we're going to have more defensive back, less linebackers in the field. We're not going to give in. And it worked. And the Bills won the game. And I wonder, now Andy Reid, and we'll see, it's all assumption, but if the Chiefs trot out 2 tight ends on third down and the Bills match with nickel, the whole game's going to be like, what are the Chiefs doing with that on the third down? So are they running? What are they going to do? And to answer your question though, is it a Shakir game? I think it's a Keon Coleman game it's a rookie game. I think Keon Coleman in Buffalo, and I think it's Xavier Worthy on the Chiefs. I really think it's talk about playing into narratives. I mean, the Chiefs literally traded back. The Chiefs traded up with Buffalo, got Xavier Worthy. Bills trade back, get Keon Coleman. I think those are the 2 of the most important players in the whole game. Is going to be whether Xavier Worthy had the pass, he caught out of bounds against the Bills, he couldn't get his feet in October and September, and then Keon Coleman is lovable, but kind of a doofus, and they both kind of got to get their shit together. It's big boy time, and I think that frankly, whichever that is going to be huge, is whichever one of those guys comes up clutch.
I'm taking the Bills +1.5. Even though I think the Chiefs are probably better and are probably going to win, I'm taking the Bills because I'm not a coward. And The Bills deserve it. It's their time. It's Josh Allen's time. And I simply cannot root for an Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl. I can't have anything invested in that outcome. So I will be taking Buffalo, who deserves it. Also, their offensive line's been really good. They've been running the ball really well. I hope they're not as conservative as they were last week against the Ravens. I hope they kind of let Josh Allen. I mean, who was doing that game? Was it Romo? Was just like imploring McDermott to let Josh Allen loose, and they wouldn't do it. And they really tightened up in the second half. And I hope that them getting through that game and kind of getting that monkey off their back allows them to play a little bit looser and let Josh Allen do what he can do, because that's the only way they're going to win. And hopefully they get a couple turnovers, which they've had a great turnover margin the entire year. The last time they played, Mahomes threw 2 picks in that game. He has not thrown a pick since. So hopefully that stuff can come back.
Yeah.
But I'm taking Buffalo.
Nice.
You saying I'm a coward because I'm taking the Chiefs?
Yeah, you're probably taking the Eagles too.
Maybe. I would say emotionally hedging is the move, because I don't want, no offense to Chiefs or Eagles fans. Well, Eagles fans can take offense. That's fine. I don't want the Chiefs or Eagles in the Super Bowl. Like, we can't.
After all that talk of greatness, witnessing greatness, now we're off that.
I saw some funny tweet that was like, if the Commanders win the Super Bowl, Jaden's a hero and it's the greatest rookie season of all time. If the Bills win the Super Bowl, Josh Allen finally reaches elite tier and he is officially Patrick Mahomes' rival. If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes is now maybe the greatest quarterback of all time and has done something nobody's ever done. If the Eagles win the Super Bowl, nobody will talk about it. We'll just forget it ever happened. Which is exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Real quick, rank the outcomes here. Obviously, Bills Washington is everyone's favorite.
Yep.
And Chiefs Eagles is everyone's least favorite. And I'm curious what the middle is. Would you rather Washington win versus the Chiefs, or would you rather the Bills win and play the Eagles?
I want Jaden in the Super Bowl. I would rather the Commanders beat the Eagles than the Bills beat the Chiefs, actually, if I had to pick.
That'd be Jaden in the Super Bowl would be insane. It would actually be crazy.
There's never been a rookie quarterback in the Super Bowl.
It'd be nuts. It would be nuts. And also, the only thing about Bills Eagles is, like, for us who will be there in New Orleans, Buffalo and Philadelphia. I mean, Buffalo and Philadelphia, New Orleans. That could end the world.
From a fan,
like just fan mixture on Bourbon Street.
My God,
I'm
it's like oil and water.
I wouldn't wear blue or green. Just stay neutral.
Just wear gray.
Just gray. Yeah, I think the move is to bet on just a Chiefs Eagles moneyline parlay, and then at least if those teams advance, no, but the point is it's an emotional hedge, because that way, at least if you get that outcome, like, you've made money.
No hedging. All or nothing, baby. Commanders, Bills. We can all dream. It's definitely not going to happen, but we can all dream.
It's not going to happen. We don't live in that nice timeline. Okay. So you guys are taking the Bills. I'm taking the Chiefs, giving 1.5. Okay. Anything else on that before we move on?
What do you think McDermott's speech before the game will be about?
ISIS.
I can't get over that. I will never get over that. Let's not forget about it.
We have to explain, because I think some people who aren't on Twitter don't know what the fuck that story
I'm terminally online, so I remember this. But basically, I can't remember when it was, 2 years ago or something like that. McDermott wanted to give a rousing, inspirational speech to his team and decided the best way to do that would be to talk about how much teamwork ISIS had on the 9/11 attacks.
It was Al-Qaeda.
Sorry, yes, correct. Al-Qaeda, not ISIS.
Apologies
ISIS
to
was
ISIS.
later.
Apologies.
Yeah. Can't be
we regret the error.
Don't want to slander ISIS.
Anyway, and this came out like a few years after it happened in an article. Who was the article that was it? Ty Dunn?
Ty Dunn at Go Log. Yeah.
I think it was Al-Qaeda Gazette, I think.
Yeah, right. No, it was from ISIS because they were trying to disparage Al-Qaeda. Anyway, yeah, and then he admitted it, which he didn't have to do. He could have just said, "No, that didn't happen."
It's like, hey, did you not learn anything? We've seen it now with McDermott, with Anthony Richardson. Just don't say it happened. Just say that. No, that's not true.
Oh, if they ask you, did you come out because you're tired? You say no. If they ask you, did you use 9/11 hijackers as motivation? Then you say no.
You say no.
That's the platonic ideal of teamwork. Ay, caramba. Anyway,
you guys are taking that guy.
Good point. Now I feel less confident about it.
Just throwing it out there.
I know. Andy Reid or that guy?
Andy Reid or that guy?
He's going against the grain. Switching things up.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Anyway, let's talk about Sirianni now. and his motivational tactics.
Big Dom. Commanders are at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are giving 6.5 points. This is a weird game. Eagles are better at almost literally every single position in the game. There's an advantage to Philadelphia. But I think it's fair to say, like, Jaden Daniels is the best player in this game. Like,
is this a referendum on the importance of quarterback versus an elite roster? Because Jalen Hurts is playing awful right now. And he, as a passer particularly, plus he has a knee injury, which, you know, he had that 41-yard rushing touchdown last week. I don't know if that's going to happen in this week because of he might be slowed down by this knee injury.
Well, you slowed down by the knee injury, sped up by the painkillers.
True. I did listen to that interview. I hadn't heard it the last time we talked about it. It was great. He was very...
Was he zooted?
He was 100%.
Like high as a kite. It was great.
Dude, I love Craig was like, "You're gonna spit off this planet."
He was like a happy drunk. He was like really into it, having a great time. That's the most happy I've ever seen him. He's usually very serious. I don't know.
He's usually
100% of Jalen Hurts interviews are like, "Yeah, no, I'm really excited. Like our teammates, I'm just so proud of this team, man. I'm so proud of this team." And like, you know, I'm just
he's almost like antagonistic a lot of the time too. He's like, what kind of fucking question is that?
Yeah, and then that one was like,
fuck
man,
you for asking that.
He was like, I used to turn on the snow in the video games. I love video games, man. I love snow. I used to love that. Like, when I was a kid, and I'm like, dude, he's never reflected. It was great. So, here, a serious question. I'm half kidding, mostly kidding, but I kind of think I'm right. Do you know how, like, obviously Jalen Hurts has had a lot of issues in the second half of the season, particularly just decision-making, processing, like hesitation, like doesn't look comfortable in the offense. It's all like short passes, the deep shots outside aren't there. We talked about it for months now. It was like basically like the new Russell Wilson, where he's got a specific skill set of low percentage stuff, but like way better runner. And then like he just not hitting middle of the field. But then when the deep shots are gone, it's kind of like, what are you doing here other than tush pushing? And like, frankly, I think since the concussion, it's been worse. The snow doesn't help from last week's game, but like he's been playing worse since the concussion. I'm half kidding, but do you think the tremendous amount of painkillers he will be on will make him just grip it and rip it a little more? Because if you're like, I'm half
better
kidding,
when I'm drunk. Yeah.
But but really, part of me is like, Marshall Lynch used to take 2 shots before every game of Hennessy or whatever.
God,
like,
I love that.
Part of me is like, if you're Washington, don't you want to just like clog up, make sure Saquon can't run anywhere, and make Jalen Hurts with his bum knee throw to AJ Brown who's limping everywhere? Like, that's the way to win. And part of me wonders if the painkiller is going to help Jalen Hurts just fucking rip it.
They should just give everybody painkillers then.
I think they do.
Feel like
way ahead of you.
I feel like we're bordering on some problematic discussion here.
Heifetz is like factoring in the drugs they're giving Jalen Hurts as like a way.
You know how hard it is to get an edge betting lines now, buddy?
Get some whippets laying around if you want some of those.
Dude, it's always sunny when they're doing the poppers.
He just comes out there with wine teeth.
The anti-Rex
my favorite episode of Always Sunny is the wine teeth one. I think they're drinking wine from like pop cans or whatever. God, that's great.
Wait, I forget that one.
I don't remember the specific plot, but it's basically we all get wine teeth, and so like the whole episode they all have like really dark wine teeth. It's great.
That's why Rex Ryan got the veneers.
Yeah, probably. What were we talking about? So I think only, like, to be serious for a second, the only problem with the idea of giving him drugs to let him grip it and rip it is one of their one of the big things that they've really dominated over the last, like, how this whole season basically is like what we just talked about with the Chiefs and the Bills is not turning the ball over. He's just been so conservative. Trust the run game. Trust your defense. Trust if you have a small lead, don't do anything wild. Don't do anything crazy. Just protect that lead. And we're going to, our other units, our offensive line, our defensive line, our pass rush, our secondary are going to win the game for us. We don't have to, push the ball down the field and make any like dangerous throws. We're just going to rely on everything else to win us the game. I think that's kind of the antithesis of what they've been doing to get to this spot.
Look, I think as always with the Eagles, most metrics point you towards them. And like you said, Heifetz, Jaden Daniels might be the only player on the Commanders that you would take over like any player on the Eagles, which is kind of nuts.
Right.
I mean, you look at the Commanders running backs, you're like, the running game in general, you're like, You look at the receivers, you're like, all right, McLaurin and nobody else. Their tight ends are 35 years old. Zach Ertz, like, okay.
The Eagles literally punted on Zach Ertz like 5 years ago.
Yeah. The offensive line with Washington.
Zach Ertz was on the Eagles back in the 90s. Yeah.
It's like literally every position group on the offensive side of the ball, running backs, receivers, tight ends, and offensive line. I'm like, meh. And yet I think to myself, I'm like, how are they going to stop the Commanders? You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm taking the Commanders plus 6.5. That line feels way too high to me. These teams have played twice. Admittedly, the Commanders did beat the Eagles, but it was with Kenny Pickett. That was when Hurts got concussed. And then they lost earlier in week 11. Jaden Daniels still kind of had the rib injury, but that game was close until the fourth quarter. Then the Eagles blew him out. But you cannot convince me that I'm going to be betting on concussed, injured Jalen Hurts on this weird Eagles team that can't throw the ball over Jaden Daniels, who I get it. Like they played the Bucs defense, which is pretty middling and banged up. And then the Lions defense, which is like a JV squad at this point. So I get that they haven't even played anybody. Literally everything. I think this line being 6.5 tells you what Vegas thinks about like who the Commanders have played and who the Eagles really are. And yet I don't care. I'm still taking the Commanders.
And you nailed it too, because I do think if the Commanders win this game, we're going to look at very simply. Washington lost to the Eagles when Jaden Daniels was not healthy. And then Washington beat the Eagles when Jalen Hurts got hurt.
So this is going to be a tie.
If Washington wins again, you're like, oh, like every time the quarterback was injured, that team lost in these 3 games this season. Like I know football's not that simple, but sometimes that's the way we talk about it. We kind of are like, oh, we probably should have thought about it that way. And I agree. It's weird to bet on Jalen Hurts again with this knee injury and like playing poorly and the concussion. The one thing that is bugging me is that Jalen Carter is so good, and Jalen Carter is a top 3 defensive tackle in the NFL right now. And the Washington losing Sam Cosmi at guard, and I'm like, man, that's brutal.
It's going to muck up a lot of what they're trying to do.
The Eagles is the right pick. 100%. I agree with you.
But the flip side
is
but
Jaden Daniels is like perfectly designed to deal with interior
I'm not going
pressure.
against him.
6.5. You know what? Can I make a very dumb observation about football? Have you guys noticed recently how even when a team is dominating, you're like, why isn't this over yet? I feel that constantly having watched these playoffs where I'm like, how is this game still this close?
Well, that's what I'm talking about with the Eagles. That was exactly my point is get a lead. Don't do anything weird. Protect the lead. And then by the fourth quarter, we're just going to grind them to dust our run game. We're going to expect Barkley to rip off a 70-yard rushing touchdown and we'll be good.
Like, I don't know. I feel like I agree with what you're saying, because the thing I keep coming back to is like Ravens Steelers feels like one of the most dominant games of the playoffs, right? Like it was Broncos.
It's 28-14. There was a moment there where you were like, this actually.
Well, that's my point. It's 28-14, and the Steelers had the ball like 10 minutes left. And they were driving. I'm like, if they score right now, this is a 1-possession game. Like, what the fuck is going on? And like,
it's like the national title game.
Yeah. How many because on one hand, you kind of like, okay, how long can Jaden Daniels keep doing this? Like at some point, he's got to look like a rookie, right? And I'm like, actually, it's the opposite to myself. I'm saying that where I'm like, how many times can he prove that every game with this guy is going to be close until I just take that at face value?
Exactly. It's like Jaden Daniels is trying to tell us who he is. We just have to listen.
And that's where I'm kind of like, fuck it. I should just take Washington 6.5. And
6.5? Come on.
That's the thing. This kid getting 6.5 points with every game that's ever been close.
If this game was a pick'em and somebody was like, gun to your head, who's winning? I still might pick the Commanders not getting 6.5 points.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what DK would always say. You know, when DK says real analytics is just boiling down what the other fan base doesn't want you to do. DK, what do you want me to do right
this
now?
Is good. Yeah.
Do you want me to take Washington getting 6.5, or do you want me to take the Eagles?
Let DK pick and you take the other side. Let's make this interesting.
No, God damn it. That was so close to him just picking.
What do you want, DK? You can have it. This is
in
your
my
ball.
heart of hearts. I want you to take the Eagles so I can take the Commanders. Which is probably the smart thing for you to do anyway.
Are you lying?
No. If you want to look at my doc, I have Commanders written down as my pick with the points. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles win and Commanders just backdoor cover late in the game. But I'm kind of with Craig where the Commanders just feel like the team of destiny. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but this is a true test of quarterback versus really good roster with a quarterback who's not playing very well with the Eagles. What do you take? What do you pick? And by the way, Craig, I think you mentioned this earlier. There's never been a rookie quarterback that has won a championship game.
Correct.
Before.
Oh, he's trying to talk me out of it.
No, I'm really not trying to do the reverse psychology thing. If you want to look at my doc, I wrote my pick, Commanders 6.5. But I have to take the exact opposite of what you do, or else I lose.
The Commanders have punted once in the playoffs.
They have 0 turnovers and 1 sack. 1 sack in the playoffs. 1 punt?
They punted once. They have less punts than games played.
Punters have it easy.
I like that it's so hard for you to make this call.
Wait, but why is it Heifetz's call? I don't understand. Why does he get first pick here? I don't understand.
No, I already told you what I'm saying. But I'm going to have to change my pick if he decides.
I guess that's true. I guess that's fair. Heifetz, what are you going to do?
Giving him the option.
It would be funny if Heifetz then took Washington and DK had to begrudgingly moneyball the Eagles and the Eagles won by 20.
No, I already moneyballed the opposite. I moneyballed the Bills.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Because he moneyballed the Chiefs.
It doesn't matter.
You just have to moneyball one of them.
And I have to go 0-2, so it doesn't matter which he moneyballs if he loses either way. I will go. My gut wants to go Washington, and then my brain keeps reminding myself that every team of destiny and every good thing seems to die. And like Game of Thrones style, like nothing good can last. But what I really keep thinking about is that I'm taking Eagles giving 6.5. They can lose the bet and make the Super Bowl. I can't live in that world. I'll be so upset if I blow this and the Eagles make it anyway. So I want Washington 6.5.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, I'll take the team that's like ultimately probably the best roster in the NFL.
Fuck, no, I want them. I'll take the Eagles.
What are we doing? Which one?
Okay, you got to choose here, pal.
No, I want
final
Washington.
answer.
I want
final
Washington.
Answer.
I want Washington getting 6.5 because it's like, if they suck, they suck. But it's weird. It's like it's no, I want Washington.
Okay.
I do think they might get their asses fucking kicked though. This might be really embarrassing.
I'm gonna moneyball the Bills. Fuck it.
The thing
Frank's playing with house money here.
Wait, I meant to tell you guys this. Shout out Anthony DeBundo here at the Ringer, who looked at if the Eagles make the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, the Eagles will have. Here are the players. So we always saw expected points added per drop back, which is just how valuable is a quarterback every time they drop back. And the worst quarterbacks, the only quarterbacks who've had a negative EPA per drop back, so like worsen their team's chances of winning in the playoffs, who won the Super Bowl in the 21st century, are Trent Dilfer on the Ravens.
Who had like one of the all-time defenses ever.
Literally probably the best defense ever. Yeah. 2000 Ravens. 2001 Tom Brady, his first season as a starter. 2015 Peyton Manning, the noodle arm Peyton Manning.
He couldn't throw.
The spinal injury Peyton Manning.
He could not throw the football.
Jalen Hurts this year.
Wow.
I'm switching my money ball. I'm going with the Commanders.
Great. Oh my God. Team of Destiny.
Just saying. Yeah. Oh, no. I feel every time I believe in destiny, I feel really stupid. All right. Fuck it.
So you picked Washington.
I'm taking Washington. Okay.
All right, DK. This is not DK. All you need.
You got the Bills and the Eagles. Like
all you need is the Bills to win or lose by 1, and then you just need the best roster in the league to win by a touchdown. That's not that crazy.
I know. Weird stuff happens. Let's do this.
I'm dead serious. I made my pick because I realized that if I took the Eagles giving 6.5 and the Eagles didn't cover but made the Super Bowl, I'd be so fucking pissed.
Yeah, I get that.
I have to get something out of it.
You can't go over 2 like that.
No. Okay.
If the Eagles and Chiefs win, are we going to go to New Orleans still? Or are we kind of just going to bail? Are we going to do that for a week?
Fuck the lemons and bail.
We can find something else to do. Maybe we should just go to Cancun and party.
Yeah,
where's the Pro Bowl this year?
Go to Mexico.
Yeah.
Just hang out with Matt Collins.
Where is the Pro Bowl? Is it in Hawaii?
No, they moved it to Orlando because
Orlando.
I think they moved to Orlando. Basically, Hawaii was like Disney all World. The players would go, but none of the people would go, the fans. And then now they're like the fans go and the players are like, I could go to Orlando whenever the fuck I want. And so the players don't go anymore.
Yeah, we can just all go to Disneyland if it's Eagles Chiefs.
Heifetz, before the games this weekend, we got to talk about what the tiebreaker is. We got to come up with something.
Oh, yeah. Should we email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com an idea for the tiebreaker? Because in theory, we have
maybe it could be New Orleans related.
Yeah, we'll figure out something fun at the Super Bowl if we end up tying. So email us ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com an idea for potential tiebreaker.
Maybe we'll have to attend a local Pelicans game and you guys will wager on that.
That's so funny. Oh my God.
I know nothing incredible. About the NBA,
it's like
probably
Pelicans,
helps me.
Pacers.
Yeah.
Wait, before we go, we have some emails I really want to hit too. But I in terms of an actual bet to make on these games, dude, Eagles Chiefs moneyline parlay is just like plus 143. So put down to $10, you get 14 back. And part of me is like emotional hedge. And if you lose it, then Bills or Washington makes the Super Bowl. It's kind of like a win-win, all the way around. Maybe it's just a window into how fucked up my brain is.
I would probably go the other way. I'm teasing the Commanders up to whatever, 12.5, teasing the Bills over a touchdown, taking that. Let's ride. Let's ride with my guys. We've already tried the money line parlay with Detroit, and it didn't work. We can't go back to the
Can't get back on the horse.
Oh, that was worse. That was a teaser, and it didn't even work.
Yeah.
We moved it down to just
2.5 each. Didn't
even
work.
get the odds. Oh no! It turns out the Pelicans don't play in New Orleans Super Bowl week. Oh no, we'll have to figure it out.
You can gamble in New Orleans, right? In Louisiana, right?
I think so. Yeah,
There is
a
a
number.
DraftKings.
There is a casino downtown-ish.
Yeah,
We'll
go.
Nice.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm going to be placing some wagers Super Bowl week for sure.
Okay, yeah, we'll figure that out. I have a lot. Yeah. Okay. Last thing I want to get before emails. I know you guys don't love baseball, but this is near dear to your heart, GK. I can't get over that Ichiro. Someone didn't fucking vote Ichiro to the Baseball Hall of Fame. He was one vote shy.
This is the talk of all my group chats right now.
Because no one's ever been
shy unanimous.
Has no one ever been unanimous?
It was just Mariano Rivera 10 years ago, which is so funny because the Baseball Hall of Fame is the most sanctimonious group of
curmudgeonly baseball writers.
Them. And someone didn't vote Jeter in unanimous.
Yeah, Jeter
because he was an asshole or something, right?
Well, because it's just like some people are like, well, the first ballot is different, and versus like,
it was like
unanimous.
On principle, I can't vote for him on his first ballot.
Yeah, and I'm like, never mind the fact that like, don't even put the steroid people to the side. Where I'm kind of like, it's so funny to me that like Barry Bonds is not in the fucking Hall of Fame.
He's like the best baseball player ever.
Literally the best baseball player I've ever fucking seen until Shohei Ohtani. I'm like, we're not gonna put him in. I'm like, you have a plaque, write it on the plaque, whatever. But like Ichiro, anyway. There is an awesome story to ESPN this week, and there's a lot of great content on The Ringer about like Ichiro. Shout out Jake Ring-Schreifels, who wrote a great story on Ichiro. Ichiro's the fucking man, and he's the funniest baseball player that ever lived. And I just wanted to shout out Ichiro. Fuck that guy who didn't vote him in the Hall of Fame. They should literally strip him of his vote.
Do you think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame?
Pete Rose is ahead of his time. Let's be honest.
Pete Rose 100% should be in the Hall of Fame.
Pete Rose is ahead of his fucking time.
Yeah, I love Ichiro. Ichiro, I went to so many games that 2001 season when he was a rookie. I think it was 2001. And he was just freaking awesome. I was talking to a friend the other day. Put Ichiro in the Hall of Fame purely for the fact that for an entire generation of people around my age were modeling their swing after Ichiro. You know, like because he has like the most iconic, like he holds the bat up, he pulls his little, tugs on his sleeve, he looks at the, he had this whole routine, and the way he swings, the way he plays, the way he like starts running before he even swings.
It's crazy.
Everything that he did was so unique and cool, and he was incredible. Rookie of the year, and then obviously he had just a ton of success. He was like one of the best hitters of his era, and great fielder, awesome. Like he is a fucking cannon from right field.
He could throw a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, he was just such a cool player. Also, like I think for a really long time he pretended. Well, he didn't. He kind of pretended he couldn't really speak English because he just didn't want to like talk to the beat very much, which is funny. He's also a style icon in Japan. Did you guys know this?
Is he?
Dude, oh my god, yeah, there are so many good Ichiro stories. It's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's some YouTube video I have to find. Maybe we could drop it. But the story.
Dude, he had 3,000 hits and he didn't even get into the majors till
27.
Yeah,
he's 27 years old. But I was reading this great story where basically they were like none of them knew. So he went to the Mariners. None of them knew if he could speak English. So like no one really knew what to say to him. And then he's like taking batting in like spring training, and he like gets to first base. And the first baseman at the time had like actually been in Japan. And there was this phrase I guess that translates to like great batting. So he just is like, not sure what to say. He's like, oh, Ichiro. Like Ichiro gets a single and he's like, oh, Ichiro, great batting. And Ichiro turns to him and says, Mike Sweeney, great ass.
He's great, man.
Shout out Ichiro.
Love Ichiro. Icon.
Oh, wait. There's one other story I had to tell. There was like the first All-Star game with Ichiro.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Joe Torre, who was the Yankees manager at the time, stands up before the AL All-Star game and gives this speech and is like, boys, just want you to know, like, this is the most incredible collection of talent in the history of the All-Star game. I want you guys to look around. There's so many All-Stars in the entire world. You're among the best of the best ever. And, like, I hope you take this moment to appreciate how special this moment is. And he's like, before we go out there, does anyone else want to say something? And it was like Ichiro's, like, rookie year. And Ichiro's like, I have something to say. And they're like, the whole room turns to him. And he's like, let's go kick their motherfucking ass.
I love that.
And then apparently he got to give the last word before they went out for the next 10 years of the All-Star game.
Wow.
Okay. I heard, so I was reading because I didn't want to misstate what he speaks English well, but he used an interpreter during interviews because he didn't want to say the wrong thing, I guess. But it was always kind of interpreted as like, I don't really want to talk to you guys.
It's easier that way. Yeah.
Yeah. It just sounds sick.
Yeah. He also speaks Spanish.
Oh,
really?
Talk to all the Spanish speaking players in the league too.
Wow. That's cool.
All right, let's do some emails. All right, this email's from Adrian.
Adrian.
Okay, so we were talking about the NFL draft chime. Another take from Craig that I'm so jealous of is that the reason the NFL and NBA drafts are so popular because the sound is perfect.
God.
Hits me. We were like, where does that come from? And so anyway, so we got an email from Adrian who says, I don't know who figured this out. It might have been Holly Anderson. Someone figured out that it might be from It's Raining on Prom Night by Grease, and someone interpolated it from that. Carlos, will you play the music?
I was deprived of a young girl's dream.
Whoa. It's 100% that.
Wow.
I think it's that.
Whoa,
I
that's
was
nuts.
deprived of a young girl's dream. By the cruel force of nature.
Wow, that blew my mind.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
That is really cool.
It's either that or a few people have also said it might be something by The Happenings from See You in September. Or
I mean,
something.
that Grease song, that is the exact same tone.
I think, dude, the NFL draft chime comes from Grease. I can't wait. Play it one more time. I can't get over that.
So it was just some guy who probably was like, I love Grease. Maybe I can make this work.
I don't know. Wait, play it one more time. It is pretty mind-blowing to hear it.
I was deprived of a young girl's dream.
It's uncanny.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas bells. And
I was
That's
deprived
crazy.
of a young girl's dream. I'm going to do that every time now.
This reminds me, I saw something where the Nintendo, the power-up noise on the original Mario Brothers was just a sped up version of the song. So if you listen to the song of Mario Brothers, they just speed it up really fast. It's like where you like get the power-up mushroom or whatever.
Oh,
That's mind-blowing. Email us other things like this. I love this. Things are either like songs you would never expect sample. Other songs are just sounds that you can't believe it came from that. Like whatever it is. Like, I also love there was a thread the other day of just like people were like, name something you can't believe someone made a beat out of, and it was just like people replying with all these things. Like I didn't even realize. I forget what song it is. Someone sampled like the Powerpuff Girls theme song into some song that's famous. I don't know anything like that. The Mario Kart thing or anything.
Choose Raining on Prom Night.
do
That's
they
crazy.
Do they have to pay Jim Jacobs? And I'm looking at Warren Casey and Jim Jacobs wrote that song. Like, are they getting a cut? Or
I assume not. It's because it's not a sample, really. It's like a 5 seconds, like a chord progression. It's not like a song, right? Like, it's a sound.
Yeah,
I don't know. You know how that song "One More Time"?
One More Time.
Yeah,
by Daft Punk. It's like they stole that, like the little hook. They like is like it's basically the same thing where they like grabbed a 10-second clip from another song and like sped it up and kind of like changed it a little bit, and then that's the entire "One More Time" song. Don't you? Isn't that count as sampling? Don't you have to pay for that?
I don't know because it's not like a song with like a label on a platform. It's just like a sound ESPN plays on a broadcast. I don't know how that works. Like, I mean, because we just play the song on our podcast. Do we owe them money? I don't know how it fucking works. We probably should figure that out.
I guess they're not monetizing the song. I don't know. That's
Watch
really interesting.
us get like in trouble because we played it here and we're like, but the NFL draft plays it all the time.
We're narcs.
Is that copyright infringement? I can't tell.
I don't know the rules.
It's raining.
No, I don't know.
On
Any
prom
copyright
night.
lawyers email us. Where's my friend Matt who listens to this show?
I was
It's your time to shine,
deprived
Matt.
of a young girl's dream.
My friend
With the
Matt
third
is an
pick.
IP attorney. It's his time.
Your friend is an IP attorney?
I mean, he just, he doesn't know anything. He just graduated.
I should
from law
ask Matt
school.
Bellany, former copyright lawyer.
Yeah, get him on and tell us about Greece.
I actually will 100% text him right after this.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's pretty insane.
That's so funny. Wow.
I know. We can't wait. And now we watch the draft. Should we do like watch Grease?
It'll never be the
weekend?
same.
No.
Don't tell me this stuff. I don't want to know.
I'm thinking of that for every pick. 256 times. Okay. Other emails here. This one's from Nathan.
Nate.
So this is not quite Wade Jones with the.
I saw it.
I saw it.
But yeah, the mayor of Philadelphia going. Oh, Carlos, just play it.
E-L-G.
Hear you all say E-L-G-S-E-S Eagles. Let's go Birds.
What?
Oof.
Let's go.
Sheila
Birds.
saved it with the Go Birds there at the end.
Where'd she go? She went
E-L-G-S-E-S. I mean, look,
Of course.
spelling live on the spot, that's who wants to spell live.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind of a nightmare.
Jets Jets is probably as far as I would go live. Eagles,
Once you go past 4 letters, that's
Where
a lot.
was I? Yeah.
It is hard. I mean, she was clearly so ahead of her skis mentally. She was already thinking about the end of the word. I mean, she went EL immediately. Like she immediately went off the track.
Yeah, that's tough. That's brutal.
So many people tagged us in that.
Yes.
We have a brand.
Oh,
Their
God.
name, of course, E-L-G.
Goals.
The other one, we got this email here from David.
Davey.
I love this email. So DK, you mentioned the farmer's dog and that the commercial, the organic dog food they keep running on ESPN. And you were talking about how you probably wouldn't get it for your dog because he eats his own shit a lot. And then we got a lot of emails about eating shit and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I wanted to read this email from David.
Got a lot of emails about eating shit.
A lot of emails about eating shit with their dogs. And we did get some people who feed their dogs farmer's dog and suggested actually their dog's poops are different now and like way better and like probably
the irony
quality.
if this actually worked to help him stop eating his shit, that would be so hilarious.
So
I'm actually gonna try.
You should try.
Well, we have mixed reviews, but so David writes, we fed our dog, farmer's dog, for about 6 months because we love him. He's the best boy, but decided we were going to stop because it's expensive. And frankly, our dog loves to eat shit.
Sounds very familiar.
So many dogs do this.
Their shit probably disgusting, like even grosser than regular shit.
Well, the farmer's dog poops are apparently like high quality. Like apparently,
just like filet mignon
It's fucking
shit.
soft serve.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, incredible poop. I just like outrageously good. A lot of people suggested
outrageously good,
tasty, a little sweet, a little savory, a little salt, fat, acid, heat. It's kind
Someone
of
wrote in
combo.
that like
crisp
my
up
dog
outside.
should eat the poop because it looks so good.
Damn, farmer's dog.
God, what are we talking about?
Farmer's dog shit.
So the farmers. So anyway, but they go to cancel the farmer's dog subscription, and the farmer's dog on their website asks, like they go to cancel it, and it says, "Do you love your dog? Yes or no?"
Oh my God.
If you click yes, I love my dog, your subscription is not canceled, and you are taken back to the start
They
of the
make
screen
you
you're
say
at.
you don't love your dog. That's
And
pretty
so
good.
to cancel the farmer's dog, you have to click no, I don't love my dog.
That's really funny.
So David says we kept our subscription for 6 months longer.
That
Oh
is
my
honestly
God.
some of the most genius marketing I've ever
that's pretty
heard.
good. That's pretty good.
He says we spent 6 months psyching ourselves up and reminded each other daily that we do love our dog.
Are we
and we'll have
signing
a happy
something
life.
legally binding that we don't love our dog here?
Well, speaking of, so we made a poll on the last episode
Oh,
asking
right.
the question, does anybody know anybody who sends pictures of their shit to their partner? We got 1,000 answers and 15% said yes, which means
150.
150 people know somebody who sends pictures to their partner of their fecal matter.
15% is higher than I was expecting, to be honest.
Yeah, dude, that's like as many left-handed people are in the world. That is a lot.
Oh my God, it's so funny. What's
that Venn diagram look like?
Not
People get up to weird stuff in their private lives is the lesson here. Some couples are very familiar with everything is I think the lesson here. And you should feel bad if you're not. You should feel bad if you don't send pictures of your own shit to your partner.
I'm going to start sending them to you
Just
guys.
kidding. I do not feel that way.
Yeah, send it my way.
Let's start a Snapchat group. Snapchat.
The shit boys.
Piss boys and the shit boys.
The gentleman's shit club.
Gentlemen's shit. Oh, that's the online version.
I don't want to have
Gentlemen's
anything to
Shit
do
Club.
with that.
You don't.
No, you
Can't
can
put my name
divest.
behind that.
Sponsored by Poopery.
So, Craig,
Do you know
were you
Poopery?
surprised? Were you surprised how many people? Because you hadn't heard of that. Heifetz, you had never heard of it.
I had only heard of it in like idiot college kids doing that to one
Yeah.
another. Not
Not couples.
not normal people in the real world.
Yeah.
Real human beings.
Hey, honey,
look,
come look at this. What are we doing?
you know, teach their own, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they're all doctors, and then it's all
A
kind of a
lot
part
of-
of.
Scientific.
A lot of people were really into the toilet talk though with DK, where we talk about the poop shelf and the
Mhm.
European. We got actually shout out to the people from the Netherlands who emailed in saying that like that those toilet peeps are very popular there. And like now I had never heard of what you were talking about.
How
So
often? I'm just
what did they
curious.
say? What did they say, Heifetz? Was it like basically so you can look at your own shit and make sure you're healthy?
How often are people inspecting their own poop?
Well, in the Netherlands, a lot, apparently.
Apparently,
But
yeah,
why?
it's quite.
So
I
you
don't
can
know. I
Tell if you're eating the right diet or something.
That's just okay.
If the consistency is good.
But then, are you making a
Ideal?
food journal and you're kind of like marking what you eat and like
I don't know.
making
That,
changes?
obviously, as Americans,
Let me
that's
pull up
way
his
too
email.
far. That's
All right,
going
it's
way too
Mark.
far.
Mark has lived in the email in Netherlands for 23 years. He's from New Jersey, and used and owned many shelf toilets. I also happen to be a sitspinkler, so he's
Nice.
sitting while he's
Stud.
pissing.
It's been
And you flush the water, pressure pushes everything off the shelf down the tube, and he says, he doesn't really make the case.
He just says what it
It's
is.
just explaining what's happening.
He's
just
just a
likes it.
sprinkler, so I trust him.
Yeah, he says it's better for that purpose too, because you're peeing onto like water instead of like splashing off a wall. Which I still don't really know if I get the logistics of what he's trying to explain, but he says it's better for sit sprinkling.
With a shelf toilet for sure.
Yeah.
It's,
Well,
not
interesting.
it's not
I-
ricocheting everywhere.
That's not ricocheting when you sit.
No, that's what he's saying. It's more you're not ricocheting when you're sitting and peeing. That's why he does it.
But he's saying that the poop shelf makes it easier to sit and pee as well, which I don't really get. I would imagine that the shelf makes it harder because if you hit the shelf while you're sitting and peeing, then it would ricochet
Oh,
out.
I thought he was saying if you're standing and peeing, piss is going to go everywhere. That's why he sits and pees.
Oh, of course, certainly. Yeah, you can't. That's a great point. You can't pee into the shelf toilet.
Oh, that's a huge down. Maybe that's why they do it, is they're trying to encourage all the the school children
As they
to
should.
sit while they
Just take
pee.
a break.
Take a
Take
break.
a rest.
It's
Take a load
cleaner.
off.
You can relax.
Yeah.
You don't have to get your hands dirty.
All right, should we end the show? We probably should end the show.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Kai and Carlos. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everyone, for emailing us in at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com. Email us about, we probably good on poop, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
we can move
we can
on.
move on.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we're done. We can't still be the poop guys when we get to New Orleans. People see us in person,
Yeah.
hey, what's up with the shit? I'm like, we gotta put that to bed. So email us about not poop. What should the email us about?
About not poop.
anything with poop. What's
Literally
the
anything
opposite?
else.
We were asking for ideas for.
Oh yeah, sounds that like, oh, this comes from that or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
any
right.
sound related trivia or whatever. Anything you're like, oh, did you know that comes from that? Like, yeah, I want those sound stuff.
Also, if you're a copyright lawyer, let us know if there's any illegalities with the NFL draft using the grease jingle.
And let us know if there's any illegalities with us using the grease.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably, I would say, because this
worth
show
triple checking.
makes money. So yeah,
Oh, knock on wood. For now.
We're just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
we probably
Thank-
would.
Thank you, Lauren.
Love the
Lauren.
game. Thank you. Me First and the Gimme Gimmies.
Who's that?
Come again.
That is a punk band that does all covers, and it reminded me of it because they do the cover of Raining on Prom Night, and it's like one of my high school bangers. Check out the Me First and the Gimmies rendition of Raining on Prom Night. It's a good one.
What era are we talking with this
Dude,
band?
these
Like
names
90s,
are
90s,
these people-
2000s.
formed
They
in
might still
San
be
Francisco, 95. Can I read you the names of these people? I've never read better names in a band.
Yeah.
Sure.
Spike Slauson,
Ooh, great.
CJ Ramon, Joey Cape,
Joey Cape.
Pinch, Fat Mike.
Yeah, Fat Mike was the lead singer of No
They
Effects.
all outscored Kyle Pitts last week.
I think Me First might be still around.
Dude,
they have like a
label-
rotating cast, I believe. But
they also have John Rice, Dave Ron. Their label is called Pizza of Death.
I went to one of their shows one time. A super fun show just because they play all the hits. It's just a bunch of, country roads, all the all-time classic rock songs, but they just do their spin on it.
Country Roads is quietly,
and they're great.
I Country Roads really went up a notch for me where I'm like, when in Germany, I think
Talking
the
about the
Chiefs
John
won in
Denver
Germany.
song?
Yeah. When
Take Me
Chiefs
Home,
won,
I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. Take Me Country Roads. And when I call it Country Roads in my head, I know that's not the name of the song, but when
it's not the name
Chiefs
of the song
game,
it's Take Me Home Country Road, I believe.
Oh, right. Okay.
but the German game, 70, 80,000 people in that stadium in Germany. Everyone just started singing that song like before the game started and then stayed there after the game ended and sang this, like 80,000 people just singing from all these countries in Europe. And I'm like, is this like the most famous song in America? Like I know obviously it's an iconic song. I don't know if I would have listed Country Roads. Is that literally the number one most well-known song outside of America? And then you see 80,000 people standing there singing it. I'm like, what is the number one song? I don't know.
It's an all-time classic, amazing song.
It's a great sing-along song.
Oh, amazing sing-along.
It's one of my favorite. Like, believe me, one of my best friends in the world went to West Virginia. I am very, very well acquainted. I never thought of it as like, is that literally the number one song export in this country?
Sorry, my dog's barking at me. 4:00 on the dot.
He's got some shit to eat.
It's fucking dinner time. I told you guys
eat
this
that
story
shit,
before.
George. Wait, give him the mic. Give him the mic.
It's up
You
to
gotta ask him.
George. George, you can make your own meals.
Yeah.
Sit.
What are you
BYOB.
complaining for? You
Dude,
can eat whatever you want.
His internal clock is fucking uncanny. It is literally
BYOP.
4:02. He came up the stairs at 4:00 on the dot. George, I gotta finish my show.
Some shit to eat.
DK, when you change the clocks, do you feed him an hour later or earlier?
I have to like do the thing where you kind of like wean him off of getting, I'll feed him at 3 and then 3:15 and then like 3:20, 3:30. And so he just starts bugging me.
Yeah.
Honestly, he starts
doesn't
bugging me
know.
like an hour before dinner every day. And it's just his thing. He just comes over and stares at me and kind of like, does this thing where he's like, come on, let's go. Come on.
Dude,
he's doing
Daylight
right now.
Savings Time. I started watching Slow Horses because you convinced me, DK, and I'm like, like Daylight Savings is like when there's like trying to explain Norway to a dog.
yeah.
Like, no, we moved the
That's
clocks.
a great line.
Like explaining to my pet, I'm like, so we moved the clocks back, so it's actually not the time that you think
Norway.
it is.
It's trying to explain Norway to a dog. Is that the line?
Yeah.
That's so good.
All right. Oh,
Anyway,
I got a
go check
spam
out Me
text.
First and the Gimme Gimmes. They're great.
Yeah, I got a spam text from Aerotech. Is that like spy tech?
That's his
They
brother.
heard you. They heard you.
Yeah. All right, goodbye, everyone.